Students, welcome back to Achievers, making biology chapters easy and simplified. Now today we have come to the end of the chapter. We'll be just discussing our little bit left with our chapter, that is the abiotic components, and we'll be coming to the most frequently asked questions uh, in this chapter. So for the question answers, students, you have to come to my Telegram link. Please join my Telegram link where you will find the important question answers which are very relevant to the chapters. So to begin with the chapters, today we will be discussing about the abiotic components. What are the abiotic components left? That we discussed in our previous slides. That was the air, temperature, soil, sunlight, which are the most essential parts with which the living components living in harmony in the environment. Coming to the first topic, sunlight. Now sunlight, students, how it is important to the plants? How it is important to the plants? Now in plants, sunlight helps the plants to prepare their own food by the process photosynthesis, and also the shoot and the root movement, that is the shoot going above the ground and the root going below the ground. This movement also is depending, the sunlight is providing indirectly by the plants. So these movement of the plants are being helped or shown with the help of this abiotic component sunlight. What about the animals? Now, in case of animals, the body rhythm or the behavior of the animal is being also influenced by the sunlight. So what I mean by the statement, the body rhythm and the behavior, that means some animals, like you will see the birds, butterflies, and some of insects, they are seen only during the daytime. They are known as diurnal animals. They are known as diurnal animals. Diurnal meaning daylight, right? These are the birds, butterflies, and all. These body rhythms and behavior, you will see as soon as the sun rises, the very first ray of the sunlight, this awakes the birds and the butterflies and the insects which come out in the daytime. And some animals, you will see, they will come only during the nights. Examples will be the bats, owls, and some insects also which are seen mainly in the night. They are known as the nocturnal animals. So these body movements are being influenced by the sunlight. Finish with this? Now, also, other than this diurnal and the nocturnal, is the daytime or the nighttime animals, there is also a movement shown by the migratory birds. Now, these migratory birds, they have a peculiar behavior. They will fly from the severe cold temperatures like from the Siberia, and they will come into some warm climate, some warm tropical climate to acclimatize. They will live there, they will give birth to the young ones, and again when the temperature will be in a favorable one, they will again fly back to thousands and thousands of miles to their own home. So these are the movements shown by the migratory birds. And the daily patterns of all these animals and birds are dependent on the sunlight. So this is how the sunlight is influencing the plants and animals. Now coming to the next topic is the temperature. Now coming to the temperature. Temperature, how this temperature influencing? Now temperature, there is a physiological and the behavioral distribution pattern. They also vary as the temperature varies. How? Now you will see these are various both the patterns are followed in plants and animals. Like in very cold temperature, where the temperature is very cold, in case of plants, you will find there plants like pine, deodar. These are the plants which will grow only in the very cold temperature, right? Like in the desert, where the temperature is very hot, there in the plants like cactus, you will find these are thorny plants which are usually seen in the desert region. And in the moderate temperature, you will see plants like rose, mango, neem, and so on. The same thing happens with the animals, the physiological or the behavioral distribution patterns in animals. If you want to see, then you will see during the very cold temperature, you will find animals like the polar bears, the penguins, these type of animals, the seals, these type of animals are seen in the very cold temperature, that is the Arctic Circle. And in the very hot region like the desert, you will find the most common animal is camel, right? And in the moderate temperature, you will find what? Monkeys, dogs, deer, elephants, lion. These are the animals which are commonly found in the moderate temperature. So both this temperature and this physiological behavioral pattern we will see both in plants and temperature in respect to the temperature of the nature. Now, coming to the third point, that is the third abiotic factor, that is the water. How water is influencing children? Water affecting the climate through rainfall and temperature. Amount of water in the soil, it will affect the photosynthesis, germination. If there is less water in the soil, then it will cause wilting of the plant. Wilting meaning the plant will ultimately die due to lack of water. So this phenomenon is known as wilting. Now rainforest, what happens? Where there is lot of rain, so lot of water, there you will find a very dense vegetation. Means the forest, there is a lot of trees and plants, and with the trees and plants there will be also more and more animals. So more the water, more will be the vegetation, more will be the animals. This is how the temperature, the water is influencing the plant and the animals. Now, the fourth factor, that is the air. How do air influences us? Now, air, that is carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, these are all the various types of gases also present in the air other than oxygen and carbon dioxide that we commonly hear of. These gases, what do? They reflect the heat back to the earth and make the surface warm and suitable for life. And air also helps in pollination, dispersal of seeds, and if there are dry winds, means less of humidity, then how do they affect? Then there will be excessive transpiration. Now what is excessive transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water from the surface of the leaf, which will cause the plant to dry and ultimately the plant will die. So if there is too much transpiration in the plant, that is what did I tell you the name? Wilting. Very good. So ultimately, what is this air doing? How is air influencing? Now, it causes change in the temperature, humidity, rainfall, thus affects both plants and animals. So this we have summarized in this points, right? Now, we'll come to the last topic, that is the soil. And finally, the last part, that is the soil. How do soil influence? Now, the mineral composition and the amount of humus present in the soil and the size of the particles also, it plays a very important role for the growth of the plants. Different soils are suitable for different plants. So, all plants will have different type of soil. Because all plants will not grow, do not require the same type of soil. Okay, so it helps. Soil also helps to anchor the plants. It helps the plant to be strong on the soil. It doesn't be worn away by the winds and rainfall and by this temperature. The soil will hold the plants tight to its ground. And also soil helps for a habitat. Habitat meaning home. It is a home for different burrowing animals. Burrowing means the animals which lives under the soil. So, and decomposers. Remember the decomposers, that is, who are the decomposers? The microorganisms, the bacteria and the fungi who are living in the soil. So, these are the way how soil is influencing our ecosystem, right? So, in this way, we have finished with the 5 factors which are very essential, non-living components of the nature. Now, coming to the all the ecosystem that we have come across so far, the largest ecosystem is the forest ecosystem. So what is forest basically? Basically, a forest is the largest ecosystem. There are different types of plants and animals. There are different types of fruits and seeds in the forest ecosystem. There are microorganisms. And forest also, it purifies the air. Why? Due to the plants. Now, recycling of nutrients nutrients in a forest is a self-sustained natural ecosystem. So the most self-sustained natural ecosystem is our forest ecosystem, which is the largest ecosystem among all the ecosystem that we have studied so far, right? Now, two important components of the forest is the flora and fauna. Now, what is this flora and fauna? Flora is the plants, fauna is the animals living in it. So, the flora and the fauna, these are the two components which are making up the forest. So, a little bit detail will come under the different layers of flora and fauna that consist in a forest ecosystem. Now, the flora and the fauna, it comprises of certain layers: the uppermost layer, the middle layer, the shrub, the herb, and the forest floor. Now, uppermost layer, you will usually find all the tall trees like sal, arjun, oak, eucalyptus, and so on and so forth. And what type of fauna you will find in the uppermost layer? You will find birds, eagles, monkeys, snakes. These are the in the uppermost layer. Now these monkeys and birds, almost in every layer it is very common, except the last layer, that is the forest floor. Okay. Now in the middle layer or the understory, where are the shorter trees prevail, like mango, neem, coffee, and so on. And birds, monkeys, snakes, bark of trees also you will find lot of insects remaining in the bark of the trees. Other than that, squirrels and these type of animals found in the middle layer. Coming to the shrub layer, where there are more shorter layer. Berries means the bushy ones. Okay. So berries, bamboos, teas, spices, tall grasses, these occupy the shrub layer. And birds, insects, butterflies, elephant, lion, tiger, these are the common animals which we find in the shrub layer. Herb layer will consist of all the flowers, fruits, grass, seeds. These consist of the herb layer. Rabbits, snakes, bugs, insects, mosquitoes, these are in the herb in this layer. And forest floor is, as it is understood from the very name floor, you will find here the mosses, mushroom, fallen leaves, seeds, and all the dried leaves. These you will find in the forest floor, which is comprising of the forest floor. And the fauna part you will find earthworm, millipedes, and all the microbes in the forest floor. So this comprises of the flora and fauna of the forest ecosystem. And with this, student, we are coming to the end of this chapter of our ecosystem. Right. So the most, as I have told at the beginning of my this video, that the most relevant questions I have jotted down for you, and you can join in the Telegram. The link will be given below. So all the relevant questions you will find there, and for further queries if you want to know, so please comment, because unless until you are commenting and sharing, this video will not be upgraded. So with your more like, with your more subscribing to this channel, this video will be more enlightened, it will become more interesting for the coming session. So your like, share and subscribe, children, these three are the very important parts which I request you to do. Please like, share and subscribe, and for comment below, and for further queries join the Telegram. Thank you, children.